This is Brindlewood Bay Part 2. If you are watching this video on the day it comes out, there are just a couple of days left in the Brindlewood Bay Kickstarter campaign. We do hope you will go back that campaign. We have a couple of big stretch goals that we're trying to hit right now. I feel pretty good about hitting one of them. I feel less good about the other one, but I think we can do it if we try really hard. So that is where things stand, though. But the campaign has been terrific. We're really excited with it, and we think you're going to love it. A couple of things before we begin. There's not a recap in this game like there's in the between because the mysteries are episodic, but I will say that we're going to be doing the little cozy vignette scenes right at the beginning where we introduce your characters during the opening credits of the Brindlewood Bay TV show. And if you have a shadow in the garden marked on your Crown of the Void, you must incorporate a creepy detail in the background of that scene. I'm not sure who that is among you. I think at least one person has it marked, if I'm not mistaken.
David and myself do.
Yeah, Marge and Una. So be thinking about your creepy background detail as well as your little cozy vignette. And looking at the conditions that you all have, it's a kind of a mixed bag. Una has 2, Marge has none, Catherine has 2, and Mary has 1. The mystery we're going to be doing is a closed room mystery, so you won't be like kind of roaming around the town, and you may not have like an ideal way of doing your cozy activity in order to get the vulnerable move. But that's where creativity comes in. If you can come up with a way to be doing your cozy activity, we can trigger that move to clear a condition and to find clues, incidentally. Taking a look at beginning of session moves, nobody has one, so that's okay. Okay, great. In that case, let's go ahead and start with cozy vignettes. The credits are rolling. We're watching the Mavens do their thing in the town of Brindlewood Bay. Give us a little short vignette that is warm and cozy, light and breezy, and in the case of Una and Marge, a little creepy in the background. Whoever wants to go first, take it away.
I can start. The camera sort of pans over Brindlewood Bay, and it's a beautiful sunny day, towards a park, sort of in the middle of town. Una is sitting on a picnic blanket, a solo picnic, with a little basket with the plaid handkerchief and everything, and a plastic wine glass filled with cranberry juice. And she's taking a sip and reading a book. And you can see the book is by Una, and it is the Brindlewood Bay cryptid guide. She has a really big butterfly net next to her. And she glances up. You can see some butterflies flying around. She puts her book down, picks up the butterfly net, and goes off. You just kind of see her disappear into the park, chasing after these butterflies. The camera pans down to the book, and the page is open to the Brindlewood Bay butterfly being. And as the camera zooms in on a picture of this butterfly being, looks kind of like a man with a furry body and big red glowing eyes and butterfly wings. The shape of a butterfly being, the shadow, comes over the book.
Fabulous, thank you. Who wants to go next?
I think we see Catherine sitting on her porch. She has an easel in front of her, and she's painting. From her porch, you can kind of see the coast a little way down the hill, and so she's working on a watercolor. And as she's doing so, the sheriff drives by in his patrol car and gives her a wave, and she sort of looks at him over her glasses, and then his smile turns into a frown as he notices the defund the police sign that's sitting in her front yard.
Very good, very good. Defund these specific police, by the way. These particular ones. Fantastic. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, marching past a whole slew of defund Dalrymple signs is Marge, smokestack a going. She passes the ladies like she always does, blows a big plume. But what you notice if you're paying close attention to the scene as the camera is following her, in each window of each building that she passes is a person in a mask.
Nice. Mary?
And then, Mary's driving by, the windows down, smoking some weed. And then she's got Bohemian Rhapsody like blaring from her MP3 player, and of course to the point where she's got the headbanging going, and she passes Marge walking. And she's just like kind of like, hey.
Fantastic. Our mystery today is All Hallows Scream. Let's go ahead and present it. You are all guests at a Halloween party being thrown at the fabulous Brindlewood Bay home of Abner and Coco Vidal. Abner Vidal is a retired filmmaker famous for gonzo B-grade horror pictures, and Coco was a frequent star of those pictures. You are all sort of coming to the front door to be greeted by Abner. You got your invitation because you have a little bit of notoriety in the town. The murder mavens are becoming kind of a thing, right, in Brindlewood Bay. These elderly book club ladies who solve mysteries in the town. Let's paint the scene. So you're walking up to the front entrance of Abner and Coco's home, and Abner is greeting everyone at the front door. He's wearing a King Tut costume, kind of like an Egyptian king thing, and paint the scene. As you approach their home, what ostentatious thing do you see outside that reminds you Abner and Coco don't fit in with Brindlewood Bay's stuffy upper crust? Also, tell me about your costume.
I think at the end of the driveway, they have, two stone figures on pillars on either side of the driveway, and some people might have lions or something, but they have like very ostentatious, like kind of those Persian lion, mythical lions. So they're like really way more kind of slightly creepy looking, and not the kind of upper crust staid decorative style that is more typical. I just thought of the costume and now my mind has gone blank.
We can come back to you on costume. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I just want to do the ostentatious thing of their place. I haven't figured out costume yet either. So any hedges that are on their property, especially if they're in the front, they are cut in the shape of like characters from their movies. Specifically the characters that Coco played.
I think they also have a garden off to the side and the back of their home, and it's all the trees. It's like a topiary. There's this very trying to look like a Regency era garden, but not really succeeding. Still, that sort of, this does not work for this time and era. It is way too self-important. Also, Una is dressed as the Brindlewood. yeah. Well, no, in this case, she actually is. She's got little antenna thingies on and some big butterfly wings, and she has these big red goggles that when she flicks a button, blare out light.
I love it. That's great. Marge, what do you or tell us about their home, and if you know what your costume is, tell us that too.
Yeah, I think in front there is like one of those driveways that kind of curves around so people could pull through and get right up to the door. But in that curve around area, there's a fountain among the topiary, and it's just like they've replaced what was originally there, like a cherub or whatever, with like a statue of the two of them naked.
I love it. That's good.
Okay, I think I figured out my costume.
All right, costume.
Okay, so basically, Miri comes rolling up with her costume of a not Regency. It's basically where it's like you've got the chemise underneath, and then like the short sleeve puffy sleeved pelisse on top, like white. And then she's got like a little reticule where she's got some convenient pot there because like she's still carrying her travel mug with her, and she's everything else looks pretty perfect for the costume except for she's wearing her boots, her combat boots underneath.
Good. I love it. Is it like a kind of like a picnic at Hanging Rock costume?
Yes.
Is
yes.
that okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can picture it now. Yeah.
I think Catherine's dressed as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so she has the hair pulled back severely, glasses, and a kind of the lacy collar.
I love it. Do you have a big like gold medallion that says Notorious RBG on it?
Yeah, sure.
Fabulous. Marge, what's your costume?
She's wearing a tracksuit. It's not the same tracksuit that she always wears, and she insists that people guess who she is, and she won't tell.
Very good. Good. So you get up to the front, and Abner is there, and he kind of greets you by doing the walk like an Egyptian's dance. He's like, "Hey, ladies," and he's kind of looking. He's like, "Let's see what you all came as. I see. Let's see here. Some sort of what is that, ma'am? Like a cowboy saloon girl thing." Talking about you, Miri. And he looks at you, Catherine, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's that justice. So what's her name? Sandra Day Ginsburg," and sort of like shuffles you in. He sees you, Una, and he says, "You must be a fan of Moth Women from Mars, one of my most popular movies." And
I actually am. That's one of my favorites.
he's like, "Great, wonderful. This is very exciting." And he's kind of, ushering you in. He's kind of just getting you all in the house. And then he gets to you, Marge, and he's like, "You're very lucky. This is still one of the few places in the city of Brindlewood Bay that we don't mind if you smoke."
I am lucky then. Can you guess what I am?
Let me guess. Sopranos?
Oh no, but you're on the right track.
I'll keep thinking about it here. And if I don't guess it, you can make me sleep with the fishes, okay? And then he kind of ushers you in. And you get inside the party. And there's a sort of like central hallway where, you've kind of been kind of ushered into. But most of the party is kind of taking place in this large room to the side, which is this sort of, it's like a bar and like little hangout spot. And that's kind of where we're going to meet all of our future suspects as well. So you will see first an actress that you might recognize if you're a fan of Abner's films. She is wearing a very like seductive vampiress costume, tight black dress with a plunging neckline, right? Um, and she's sort of like chatting, with a man wearing a Phantom of the Opera getup, the whole half mask and everything. They're kind of chatting. You actually will recognize one of the guests immediately, despite his Frankenstein's monster costume, as Gordon Thune, the banker in Brindlewood Bay. He is sort of like up against the wall, looking very uncomfortable, like he's not enjoying himself at all. Coco Vidal is bouncing around the room with champagne and things. She's dressed as Cleopatra, as you might imagine, to complement Abner's look. You will also see June Willoughby, local socialite, dressed in she's come in like a powder pink sock hop costume, poodle dress and all that. She's about your age, not a member of the Murder Mavens. She finds anything that's not, she just finds the books about murder and killings to be quite distasteful ladies. She's very, very involved in society matters in Brindlewood Bay. And there's a maid as well. She's not in costume except for a pair of cat ears on her head. She's bopping around. And then we also see one man who's tending bar who is not in a costume. In fact, he's dressed up in a suit, slightly rumpled, like he just got off a plane. But he's quite handsome, very striking looking. Anyway, these are some people roaming about. Abner encourages you all to go meet everyone. Everybody will love your story, the Murder Maven story. It's really great. And so let's just have some scenes before killing happens. Miri, what are you up to?
After Abner kind of called out Marge for this, luckily this is the only place she could smoke. She's already like surreptitiously going out to, if there's like what is it, like not a balcony but a like a veranda or something like that, she'll kind of like surreptitiously like roll up a blunt to get ready for later.
I like it. We'll say that June Willoughby comes out to the veranda where you're at.
Okay.
June.
Oh.
And she's like, is that reefer I smell, Miri?
I don't know. Is it? Would you know about that?
Well, I'm not going to pass judgment. I know times are changing, and I shouldn't be surprised that such a thing would take place at a party like this. And, well, we already know about your reputation in town, don't we?
I have a reputation? Really? Wow, cool.
Oh, Miri Frost, you are the talk of city council, in fact. All of you are, you murder mavens.
Just
Is that
because
really the sort of publicity we want in Brindlewood Bay? I don't know.
So basically, like, our reputation for being into mysteries and reading is beneath the town council. Is that what?
Well, the town council is a little upset because it seems like our local sheriff's department doesn't really know what they're doing. Also, we don't love the, just stories about the rather high number of murders in town. It's not good for business.
If they happen, they happen. And if our sheriff's department can't get the details right, then somebody's got to step in.
She's like, what is this costume you're wearing? Is this sort of Old West saloon whore?
Excuse me. It's a lot better than that puffy pink thing that you're wearing right now.
I'll have you know, this is the actual dress I wore when I was in high school. And she twirls around. I was quite the scene.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
What does that mean?
Oh, you've filled it out a little bit too much, dear.
Good. She sneers, and we'll cut away from that. What are you doing in the meantime? There's other people to meet.
I think being a big fan of Abner's movies, I'm going to kind of tail him a little bit, peppering him with questions about inspiration stories he's heard, assuming that, he's also a cryptid enthusiast because so many cryptids appear in his movies.
Indeed, indeed. So Abner will he will be chatting with you, and June will actually come up in the middle of the chat, or not June, Coco. Coco will come up and she'll say, Abner, dear, we need some more ice. Can you go to the back and grab some? And Abner says, "What? 1 second, 1 second. I'm talking to a fan, dear. Did you know that Ms. Oh boy,
Sorry.
Una
Just
is
Una
a
is
big
fine.
fan. Is a big fan of my films. I mean, they're hard to find here in Brindlewood Bay. Fans of my films." And Coco's like rolling her eyes, and she's like, "We left Hollywood to escape the fishbowl atmosphere, but he can't get enough of the limelight, I'm afraid."
Oh, completely understandable. I mean, I would be pretty hard to shut up if I was involved in that kind of thing. I love those movies. They're just, oh, my favorite is probably the 50-foot caterpillar from Planet Ooze. That one is so good. And the romance in it was really heartfelt. I mean, before everybody got gooed to death, it really made me feel like there's hope for humanity.
And at this point, Mrs. White, the maid, approaches the three of you. She's about your age as well, very dour looking. And she says, "The ice, ma'am." And Coco says, "Oh, yes, dear Mrs. White, she can't haul the ice. It's too heavy for her. You need to go back out there and get it." And Abner's like, Sure. Mrs. White, just do it for me one time." And Mrs. White goes, cat ears, very frowning. And Abner goes off to go get the ice. Meanwhile, Catherine, who are you chatting with?
Catherine makes her way over to get a drink from this man in the rumpled suit at the bar.
Oh, yes. The Vampiress and the Phantom of the Opera are also at the bar as well. And the Vampiress will intercept you. She'll say, "You're one of those murder mavens, aren't you?"
I see we're developing something of a reputation. We helped out on one little thing.
Well, all I know is that hold on a second. Marcus here, and she points to the man behind the bar. Marcus here has been trying to option your story for quite a while. I hope he gets it. I hope the film gets made, because I mean, it would be a bit of a stretch, but I think I can pull off a woman of your age.
And what age would that be exactly?
She's like, "Do you know who I am? I'm Elena Visage."
I'm afraid
I mean, surely you've seen my work. Variety once said my performance in Devil Women from Planet X was the most acting they'd ever seen.
I think you should chat to my friend Una. She is perhaps more of a fan of your work. I'm more of a reader myself.
The Phantom of the Opera guy, he says, "Oh, don't mind Elena. She's..." he kind of like kind of intersperses between the two of you. He says, "Don't mind her. She's just upset that, well, the casting agents don't call as frequently as they used to."
You sound like my husband complaining about his publishers.
Oh, what kind of work does your husband do? Oh, I'm Sam Turlington, by the way.
Well,
I'm
he was.
Abner's local business partner.
Delighted to meet you. I'm Catherine Campbell.
The
And
man
my
behind the
husband
bar
was.
says, and I'm Marcus Greaves. I'm the not local business partner. I'm the manager from LA who really wishes that Abner would get back there.
That's quite a trip you've made.
And they all kind of look at each other and they're like, Elena's like, well, none of us can really understand why they'd want to move to this backwater in the first place. There, I said it. And she walks off. And Sam says, don't mind them. They don't understand that Abner and I, we have a lot of things going on here in town. Big deals, big plans.
What kind of plans would those be?
Oh, real estate, various little ventures. Where do you live in town exactly? And is that property for sale by chance?
Oh, well, I would dread to think that the character of our little town was going to change into something more corporate or touristy.
And Marcus said, see, I told you, this is pointless. Come back to LA where people love you, Abner, where you had a flourishing career. You were like 6 bad movies away from getting a star on the Walk of Fame, right? I mean, come on. I mean, we were getting so close. And there's some tension between Sam and Marcus, you can tell. Marcus clearly wants Abner back in Hollywood. Sam clearly wants him here. And Elena has gone off to chat with other people. Meanwhile, Marge, what are you doing?
I think I'm gonna go up to the rumpled suit guy. It's
Marcus.
That's Marcus, right? Are you Mayhem from those commercials, that insurance commercials? Is that who you are?
He's like, he looks at you and he's like, no, I am playing the part of a manager, an agent from Los Angeles who hasn't gotten his 10% cut in quite some time.
That's a very specific costume idea. I don't think anybody's going to get that. Can
He's
you
like,
guess who I am?
Well, I was about to say, what are you supposed to be?
Come on, green tracksuit. Come on.
Mall walker? I don't know.
You're never going to get it. You're never going to get it, honey.
Let's see who else needs to be met. I think Gordon is standing against the wall in his Frankenstein's monster costume.
I'll ask
you
him.
all know Gordon.
Yeah, I'll ask him. Who do you think I am? Come on, Gordon.
He looks up at you and he goes,
Staying in character.
Mrs. Castellucciano, you're dressed like you're always dressed.
Come on. No, I'm not. It's different. It's a costume, I swear.
And he's looking you up and down. He's like, I don't know, woman running a bake sale.
No, none of you are going to get it. The guy at the door was the closest, that King Tut fella.
And he says, Marge, as you know, I am legally obligated to not speak to or make any allusions to or reference to your deceased husband's former profession. I would please remind you, I would have you be reminded of that so that we can stop right now. Thanks.
Nope, you're still not close. He was only close because he was guessing a film, a TV show.
Marcus says, maybe you should just tell us.
Nah, somebody's got to get it right.
Meanwhile, the party is sort of, humming along. Everything's fine. There's various, Halloween hits playing over the sound system that pipes in throughout the whole house. Monster Mash and Rock Lobster, that kind of thing, right? And at a certain point, you hear a blood-curdling scream. A woman's scream coming from the back porch, the back veranda. Everyone rushes over there. Not everyone, but most everyone rushes over to see what's going on, assuming you all do as well. You will all see Abner Vidal on his knees, his head submerged in a metal bin used for bobbing for apples. Quite dead. Mrs. White is who screamed. And June walks up behind you, Miri, and she says, well, I'm sure you must find this very exciting, Miri.
She has like part of a blunt in her hand already, and she's like, it was bound to happen sooner or later, I guess.
Get your
Yeah.
devil's cigarette smoke out of my face. Coco, she walks up to the body and stands there for a moment. And then collapses with her head on his back, pushing his head deeper into the water. And she says, oh, Abner, my love, why, how could this happen? Why would someone do this to you? Why? Meanwhile, what are you all doing?
I turn to Una and I say, this is what she's famous for in these films?
No, you're thinking of Elena. Very, very different. But
Okay.
I can see how it can be confusing. Anyway, we should probably get to the task at hand, which is our. It's really unfortunate. He was telling me all about his movies, and now I'm not going to be able to hear the story about why he made the purple people muncher of Saturn's fourth moon. And I'm just really kind of sad now. Oh, I made myself sad.
I pat you on the shoulder. I'm like, he might have journals somewhere, or maybe Coco knows. I mean, he's probably told her those stories a million times. We probably should get her off of him. I mean, just saying.
You can go help
That's
her.
exactly what Catherine's,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what Catherine's trying to do, just to offer some comfort to Coco, but at the same time,
Yes.
trying to get her off the crime scene.
She looks at you and she's still sobbing, Catherine, and she says, why would anyone want to kill my Abner? He's so harmless. I mean, it's true, he snores quite a lot and he's sometimes a bit of a cheapskate when it comes to dining out, but that's not the sort of thing you kill someone over, is it?
No, of course not. I'm sure.
Mrs. White
we'll find out more,
interjects.
but now is not the time to be worrying about these things.
Mrs. White interjects between the two of you and she says, I'll help Mrs. Vidal. And she takes Coco away, leading her upstairs to their room. Marcus sighs and he says, well, I guess there goes my 10%, and sort of stomps off to go get another drink. Sam Turlington says, well, I guess we should call someone, or police maybe, or...
Oh, don't call that Dalrymple guy. He's not very effective.
Well, then what do you propose we do?
We can get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
a lot faster than any of y'all could get to the bottom of me being one of the contestants from Squid Game.
And they're all looking at you. And
Marge, I
maybe
thought you
they
were
don't get the
being your
cultural. I get the cultural
doppelganger.
reference. I don't think they do.
So cool.
I didn't realize you were in costume, dear.
You thought I'd come to a costume party and not dress up? Heavens.
We
one
thought we
not in
saw that one
costumes.
before.
Only one not in costumes here is Miri. She's
What?
wearing what she always wears.
Just the boots. I don't always wear this.
You know I only pay attention to shoes, honey.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Shoe
get him
buddy.
out of the water and get a look at him.
Yeah. So,
All right, so
Aye.
we've got you got a 6 complexity here. There are other rooms and other places in the house that are worth searching. There is the master bedroom where Abner and Coco spend a good deal of their time. There is, across from the lounge that you're all kind of like the party's taking place in, is a room called the quote Tinseltown Room. Abner also has an office as well. And there's also down below, there's a whole like basement, like movie screen filming or movie screening room with chairs and a screen and things like that. In addition to just the normal sorts of things you might expect to find in a house. Marge, it sounds like you were gonna grab the body. Una, that might be a thing for you to do as well. If you want to like grab Abner's body and take a look.
Yeah, I'll grab him by the shoulders and then pull him up if you want to make sure he doesn't.
Yeah, I'll like straighten his legs out.
Yeah,
So
we'll
you
just.
can lay him flat.
So Una kind of leans over the bobbing bucket and puts her arms under his arms and sort of yanks him out as best she can. I imagine she's not terribly strong. And he's kind of dripping water. Does he have an apple? Did he get one?
No, but
Okay.
I will say that probably Sam and Marcus will help you all like get the body and lay him out. Sam, he says, this feels, I mean, aren't we kind of tampering with a crime scene right now?
No, I'm sure it'll be fine. Just make sure nobody leaves.
We're,
Make sure nobody like goes.
we're just securing the crime scene.
And so, okay, you've got the body, then what?
Una's gonna take out her little doctor's bag, and I would like to take a look at the body using my, was it Arquancy? Is that what I have?
Yeah, that sounds good. Make the meddling move with reason, and you get to roll with advantage.
Nine.
Okay, that's a clue. We'll come back to that. Marge, what are you doing in the meantime?
I think I'm gonna, after I've helped move the body, I'll ask Mrs. White, is she still around?
She's upstairs dealing with Coco and her grief.
Okay, she went upstairs with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll just ask, the room, I guess. Did anybody see him? Who's the last one you think you saw him?
Yeah, that's good. Do a meddling move with probably just presence, I guess, to see if they open up, if they're willing to talk to you. Some random old lady dressed like a squid, was it?
Contested, come on now. Does the cake pan help you get there? Hold up that octopus cake pan. 9.
Okay, good. We'll come back to that. Mary, what are you doing in the meantime?
I think she would have heard the request to do something about the ice or something. Just kind of want to like kind of retrace his steps, I guess. I mean, like, because he was talking with Una, but then like, he was going to go help, I think.
Yeah, Coco and Mrs. White wanted him to go get ice.
Okay. I can't remember if like he did or not, or if just made Mrs. White do it.
I mean, he went towards the back, and then a little bit after that, he ended up dead. But everybody was milling around the party enough to have been able to go back there and do it.
Right. So, if we're like kind of familiar with where that place is, like Miri wants to go check out that room where the
ice
is.
would have been stored outside, like just in the in the back and
nearby. So I'm just gonna go over there and then see if I can see anything.
Yeah, make the meddling move with reason. See what you can.
And why didn't I have my dice out? I have no idea. All right, using my Golden Girls dice. Please let it work better than my dice last week.
I have some of those too.
Oh God. No.
Would you get a 4? Okay, we'll come back to that. And Catherine, what are you doing?
I think I'd like to head up to the master bedroom where Coco was taken, and I'll, discreetly listen at the door for a moment, and then tap a knock just to check up on them.
Do a meddling move with vitality to stay quiet enough to hear.
Okay. That's a 5.
Okay. We got a couple of bad rolls on the table. We will deal with that in a moment. Let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Clues, clues, clues. Let's start with examining the body.
And of course, in veterinary body examinations, you would look in the nose and mouth and ears first to see if they ate anything or
you don't have to
something
go
like
that far because as you're getting his body out and you're taking a look, you realize as his head lolls back that he's got a big gash across his neck. And the red coloring in the water meant to be scary blood is in fact partially blood, Abner's blood. And the complication is, as you're fooling around with the apples, you realize one of the apples is embedded with razor blades, and you cut your hand on it. And I'm going to give you the condition: sliced open hand.
Oh dear, I'm gonna have to get a tetanus shot.
Maybe, possibly. Interestingly, well, no, that'll be your clue. Your clue is the apples with the razor blades. Essentially the method of killing. Marge, you're sort of asking if anyone's seen anything, if anything like that is, and I will tell you that the clue you're going to find Marcus is on his cell phone, and you get a glimpse at a message bubble he's just received as you're sort of, asking everyone if they saw anything, that kind of thing. And the message says, well, I guess we don't have to worry about those rejected scripts anymore. That's your clue. The complication is you see June at the back saying, "Good, Sheriff, you better get here as soon as you can." And she hangs up and she looks at you. She says, "What was that, Marge?"
Just exhale all the smoke. June.
She's like, yes. What were you supposed to be again, dear? Some kind of game?
Yeah, something like that.
Meanwhile, Miri, you're out back. You do see a big chest full of ice, sacks of ice. And before you have a chance to really determine if there's anything there to be learned, you feel a very cold pair of hands wrapping around your throat from behind. Someone is choking you out. What do you do?
Oh, accept the consequences.
Or we could cut to commercial.
Right. Shit. I want to know what happens. I'm assuming that I'm gonna be dead if I just keep going with this.
Well, I mean, you're going to make a night move to avoid whatever's about to happen, but or you can put on a crown, or we can cut to commercial. I'll let you choose.
I know. I like them all. Let me make the night move. I'm curious to see if I can get out of this.
So you're being throttled. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Yeah, that I'm gonna get choked out and die, and then they're going to make my body disappear.
Oh boy, I have to see how it's worse than that. It's worse than that. The killer will begin stalking all the other Mavens one by one.
Fabulous. Great.
Please go ahead and roll with Vitality. Or how are you trying to escape?
I'm going to I'm gonna stomp behind me, like I'm gonna like push back suddenly and then stomp with my boots. That the person trying to choke me. Yeah.
Make a Vitality roll, or roll with Vitality.
Okay, so that is a 9.
All right, we'll come back to that. Catherine, you're listening up at the door, and you hear a woman's voice. It could be Mrs. White or it could be Coco, because they're kind of doing a stage whisper and you can't quite tell, in any case you don't know either of them well enough. And they say, "No, not you." What do you do?
I burst in the door.
You burst in the door. We'll talk about the room in more detail in a minute, but you see Coco lying on the bed, throttled with a noose. There's seemingly no one else in the room. Unless you want to put on a crown, or we can continue with this.
I'm intrigued where this is going. Yeah.
Or we can cut to commercial.
I want to see if I can, is there a door to a dressing closet or,
Yeah.
a curtain somebody could hide behind? I want to kind of dash around looking for, because this must have just happened.
It just happened. Yeah.
Right. There's no
Make
way.
a meddling move with probably composure.
Okay. That's one of my better ones.
And I think you're unnerved.
Oh.
Don't want to make you roll at disadvantage.
Oh, okay. So that's a 7 + 1, an 8 with disadvantage.
All right, we'll come back to that. Let's resolve the situation with Miri first. Miri, you got the mid result. You're going to be able to fight them off. You won't see who did it. But I'm just going to give you like bruised neck as a condition. But go ahead and describe it.
Yeah, so as soon as she feels the cold hands go around her neck, she instinctually just goes backwards to throw them off balance, and then will bend her knee and stomp her right foot down as hard as she can where she thinks that person's feet are, or leg. And then she will kind of do like a twisting motion and get out of that grip. And then she'll try to see who was behind her, but I'm assuming that they're now long gone.
They're gone. Yeah. And
Shit.
just a little bit before that, Marge, the group had dispersed when you were sort of trying to see what everybody knew. Everyone's gone off to different places in the house while they figure out what's going on. Everyone's very happy that the sheriff has been called. They do not trust the four of you to solve this thing. In any case, you are not law enforcement. Marge, what are you doing at this point?
Just pestered June about all of this. You sure seem to be in a rush to be the one who called the local law enforcement, trying to hide something there, June.
She says, Marge, I know you think you're some sort of like Hercule Poirot in a bad tracksuit, but let me assure you, I have nothing to hide in this matter. I was invited because, well, I was one of the first friends that the Vidals made when they moved to town. Yes, they are not what we would normally call the right sort of people in Brindlewood Bay society, but I was determined to help them fit in.
Oh, really? You weren't determined to get rid of them so you could get rid of that statue? And I'm pointing out the window at this nudity.
Okay, yeah. Make a meddling move with composure.
Eight.
Nice. So come back to that. Una, what are you doing right now?
I think since we've determined how the victim was killed due to awesome medical skills, Una is going to stand up and try and figure out who was the last person to see him alive.
Yeah, well,
Other
so
than Una.
everyone's sort of, by the time you get around to that, everyone's like left the scene. They're all like down, they're in various, at the bar, or they're in the salon. I think Marge and June are chatting at the bar. Catherine has disappeared. Mary's outside. You can see Mary from the veranda. You might just miss Mary getting assaulted out there.
Yeah, I feel like I would have just like, as I look out at the veranda, glancing over, I just see like, and I don't even notice.
Yeah, in the background, there's like a pair of hands like grabbing, grabbing Mary.
Yeah, Una's looking around, and she kind of heaves a sigh and decides to go head towards wherever Abner was going to get the ice. She's going to go find where the ice is.
Well, that's where Mary is right now.
Ah, perfect. Gonna head out that way.
So you can meet up with Mary. Mary, you have just fought off an attack.
and she sees Una coming towards her and it's like, did you see? Did you?
Yeah, he died in the big cut on his neck. It was awful.
Somebody just tried to choke me.
Una's looking around, can't see anybody.
Yeah.
Are you sure, honey?
I mean, you probably see it's like there's bruising starting to show around my neck.
I know, but sometimes you can get really high, and I don't know what that does to your brain.
I'm not going to put bruises around my neck, Una, just so you know.
Okay, well, to each their own. So you said you got
no kink shaming in Brindlewood Bay.
There's no kink shaming here in Brindlewood Bay.
I would let you know if that was the case, all right? But this is not the case, all right?
Is that an invite? No, I'm sorry. There's more important matters at hand. I'm sorry. I'm a little distractible tonight.
Obviously.
One of my
okay?
heroes
Would
is
you want one
gone.
of? Hey, do you want one of these? And she.
Oh no, no, dear, that smells like cat piss. No, thank you. Um, so where did this person go? Did they
Don't
back into
know.
the?
I was looking to see if like there was any clues by the ice where Abner was sent to take care of. I mean, right
That's where
here.
I came up too. And I think while we're chatting, Una's going to be kind of looking at Mary's neck to make sure there's no permanent damage, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's all good. Let's cut over to Catherine. First of all, we have a paint the scene here in the master bedroom. Abner and Coco had what I would describe as a pretty interesting sex life. What evidence of this do we see casually strewn about the room?
Oh, I think there's a swing seat hanging from the ceiling.
There's an absurd amount of full plate mirror
Mirror on the ceiling.
mirror on the everywhere.
There is a fully adjustable St. Andrew's cross.
Very interesting sex life.
You can see on both sides of the bed, like the nightstand has drawers that are open, and there are things sticking out of it.
I owe you a clue, Catherine. You will see that one of these panes of mirror glass is shattered. And it's shattered because someone threw Coco's Briddy Award at the glass. And the Briddy Award is also shattered. Who knows when that happened, but that's your clue. Shattered Briddy Award. You will also... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say no sign of anyone.
Well, so here's your complication. One of those panes of glass opens on its own, just spins open as if it were a door, creaking open slowly. And you see there's a set of stairs going down. What do you do?
I think I call out to the others. Una, Marge, Miri.
Marge, you're probably the best place to react. I owe you a clue from June, correct?
Yes.
What, did you get the
but there's
result?
also a complication. So
yeah, the complication might just be that you're going to get your clue, but you got to go hunt June down again because you're being called away by Catherine.
Gotcha. So I get the clue later.
You get it later. I'm going to follow up with June.
Yeah, I'll hurry upstairs. Good heavens.
Miri and Una, I'll let you decide whether you hear Catherine or not since you're outside.
It's a good question. I mean, like, if their bedroom happens to be near the back, which I would imagine it is.
Yeah, and it's upstairs, so you might hear just like some commotion. I'll let you decide whether you hear and respond, though.
Do you hear that, Mary?
Yeah, I think.
Do you think that's the Brindlewood Bay 8 monster?
If it is, then it sounds like Catherine. I think we can head upstairs.
Catherine can't possibly be Largefoot. That just isn't. That's not possible. That's just a silly theory. You're very high, aren't you?
I need to be high sometimes when I talk with you. It's great. It's like,
people say that a lot.
Yeah. Let's go meet Catherine upstairs.
Well, fast forward to everybody up in the master bedroom. Everything is as we've described already, and there is a secret door with some stairs going down.
Marge is putting out
the body.
her cigarette in a large,
and the body as well. Yeah, there's also a body.
Yeah. Marge is putting out her cigarette into a big ashtray full of tons of cigarettes that's already in this room. This place is a little bit, well, it reminds me of Big Mo's place. Has anybody checked that out yet? Pointing to to the staircase. Looks
Well,
kind of.
I didn't want to go down there on my own, but I think we should get down there post haste.
Do we see the body?
Yeah. Coco is dead on the bed.
Does anybody else know about this? Pointing at Coco.
Well, that's why I came into the room.
Oh my god.
I heard it happening.
Is she dead?
Una pulls up her doctor's bag very dramatically and heads over because she's pretty much considering herself like the coroner, the mortician here, or whatever the
town doesn't have one, so
yeah, whatever the name of that job is, that's what she is right now. And she opens up her doctor's bag and what does Coco look like? Is she on her medical examiner? Thank you. What does Coco look like? Is she kind of on her stomach, on her
she's
back?
laying on the bed, her arms splayed dramatically and her head back, and then the noose around her neck.
Yeah.
Whoever did it would have to have been strong enough to hold her there and choke her, if that's how she even died. But in any case, what are you doing?
I'm gonna check to make sure that the noose was actually tight enough to be able to do anything like suffocate a person or whatever it is that caused her to die. Probably suffocation. I'm gonna check to see if there's any, broken fingernails, see if she maybe fought back, bruising.
Using all your little tools to poke and prod. Go ahead and roll meddling move with reason at advantage.
I do have a sliced open hand.
A regular dice because of your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a 4.
A 4. We'll come back to that. Mary, what are you doing?
I mean, once I call attention to the body, it's like, she's not going to take a look at it. But I think we should probably go and check this out. Is it dark? I mean, is there any lights or anything like going down that staircase?
No.
Shit. Interesting.
Catherine couldn't bring out her phone and turn the flashlight on that.
Last thing I always think of. I mean, I'm usually listening to the music on my phone. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go down, I'll go with you, Catherine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a problem.
Marge will raise up her octopus pan like she's getting ready to defend, and she'll lead the way.
Very good.
And here, I thought you were going to be baking them something tonight.
Oh, we always hope to get some baking done, dear.
I think because Catherine, because you have the unnerved condition, I'm going to make you roll the night move right now as you are going down the stairs. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
I'm afraid that we've waited too long, and whoever did it has made a clean getaway, and we won't know who it is.
I think it's worse than that. I think all of you will be fingered for the murder. You've all put yourself in a position to be accused. J'accuse. Go ahead and roll with composure. Disadvantage.
Yeah, that's a 5.
You are going down the stairs carefully, cake pan raised. I think you're flanked by them, cake pan in the front, whoever's holding the phone in the back with the light right here. It's a very, very narrow little staircase, and it zigzags quite a bit. And the door from the bedroom slams closed. Una, the door into the bedroom slams closed. We can hear the Monster Mash playing in the on the speakers. The Monster Mash, dun, 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 the Monster Mash, dun, 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 bum, 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 Monster Mash. All the power is cut. All the lights go out. The three of you are trapped in a secret staircase. And Una, you are in the bedroom with a body. I'm going to cut to commercial on both of you. Una, or Amanda, really. Your prompt is Roger the Gorilla Fontaine, attorney at law. Catherine, or Rob, I should say, your commercial prompt is, I want to see the sequel to the ongoing furniture liquidation sale. What was the name of it, David?
That's Happy Jack's Lumberjack Lumber Liquidators.
Happy Jack's Lumberjacks Lumber Liquidators. I think it needs to be, I think they're getting so desperate that the commercial is getting more strange and weird. Rob. We'll take a fast break because I need to go get some water anyway. 3 minutes, we'll come back and we'll do commercials. Brindlewood Bay will be back after these announcements, starting with Roger the Gorilla Fontaine, attorney at law.
The commercial flashes on bright lights like yellow, red, orange, kind of like an ambulance light. Have you been injured in an accident? Are you sick and tired of spending every day suffering for free like a chump or a chimp? Could your pain and suffering make you millions? Call Roger the Gorilla Fontaine, attorney at law. I'll go bananas for your case. And it's sort of interspersing like horrible accidents with Roger the Gorilla Fontaine like kissing a kitten, and is every day a living nightmare? Could your living nightmare make you rich? Call Roger the Gorilla Fontaine, attorney at law. Flashing again, and Roger's kissing a baby now. You know what they say about gorillas. Where does a 600-pound gorilla sit? Accident shot. Anywhere it wants. Roger sitting on a pile of money, throwing it in the air. Come be rich like me. Roger the Gorilla Fontaine, attorney at law. 35 years experience. And in little tiny letters at the bottom, only 2 years experience in law. I will work for you. And I'll be ape shit for your money.
Very good. 35 years experience being alive. Somebody put that in chat. I love it. Thank you. Your roll is now a 10 plus. Thank you very much. Happy Jack's Lumberjacks Lumber Liquidation Sale Part 2.
Everything must go, go, go. And Happy Jack is standing atop a pile of broken shards of furniture, and this time he's wielding a chainsaw above his head and revving it, and the smoke's billowing out of this thing. And come down to Happy Jack's, everything must go. And he swings it down and the camera just cuts and the camera comes back later on, and there's Happy Jack sitting in a lawn chair by the side of this huge pile of broken up furniture, and he has a peg leg.
No, Happy Jack.
He needs that injury lawyer now.
Somebody put in the chat, so he needs to call Roger the Gorilla Fontaine.
The next commercial is going to be a joint commercial.
Very good. Very good.
I thought my life was over till I called the gorilla in my corner.
getting back to our show here. The monster mash, bump, 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 bump. The power comes back on. You hear someone holler, "Oh, found it, found the fuse box. We're all good," from downstairs. And it must have just been the wind that caught the doors, Una, because they're both ajar again. You can kind of see them, kind of moving in the wind a little bit. Maybe there's a window open. Who knows? Continuity doesn't matter. And I owe you a clue. You will see. You already had the Shattered Briddy Award. Oh. You will see a King Tut costume on the floor, hastily discarded. Abner's still wearing his, but here's another one. That's your clue. The three of you manage to keep your nerve, especially once the music comes back on, and you get down to the bottom of these stairs. And even though you were doing the night move, I'm going to give you a clue here, because the clue is this is a secret passage from the bedroom to the Tinseltown Room on the first floor. And that's your clue, the secret passage between the master bedroom and the Tinseltown Room. Let's talk about the Tinseltown Room as you step into it. So paint the scene, folks. As you step into this den/lounge area, what object do you see that is supposed to be a reminder of Abner and Coco's life in Hollywood?
There's a very ostentatious candlestick. This candlestick is silver, and it's kind of engraved and carved with the names of every big winner movie that Abner made, and even the candle in it is the wax is clearly painted in gold. It's never been burnt, but I suppose you don't want to burn gold if you don't have to.
There are a selection of posters of his movies, framed, beautifully framed, and on the walls, and there are all these kind of lurid sci-fi horror B movies. Mothman from Mars, 80-foot. What was it? 80-foot something.
Caterpillar?
Yeah.
80-foot caterpillar.
Good to death was a phrase I never thought I'd
from
hear.
somewhere that gooed people to death. I don't remember where it was from now.
Also, Abner
Everything
likes to
is
tell
under-
people that he was the first person to put a thing on a shark. So just FYI.
Nice. The first camera that they ever used to film is in a prominent position in the room, as if it's getting ready to film a scene, like in front, in the space in front of it.
Jutting out from one of the walls is like half of a velociraptor, like an animatronic velociraptor. It's just jutting out from the side. And it's got one eye that's got like a purple contraption over the top of it. And there's a little plaque.
Like a laser beam.
There's a little plaque that describes, like, this is the authentic Velociraptor from Laser Raptors from Outer Space, Part 9.
I love it. Good. Well, so you're all down there now in the Tinseltown Room. I think you actually will step out from behind. I think there is a giant, like enormous fiberglass caterpillar that is meant to be the 80-foot caterpillar or centipede or whatever it was, and that pushes aside to give you access to the room. That's the secret way coming from this direction. And as you step into the room, you actually see Gordon Thune, the banker, in there as well, having a quiet conversation with Sam Turlington, who's Abner's local business partner. He's the Phantom of the Opera. And when they see you, they look and they're like, oh, what's going on here? And Sam's like, oh, yeah. Secret doors, huh? You expect them to have this kind of thing in houses like this. Oh, a lot of these old houses have stuff like this, huh? I imagine a house with a secret passage probably goes for a lot more money, wouldn't you say, Gordon? And Gordon's like, he ignores the question and he says, what are the three of you ladies doing?
Una opens her mouth to respond and then spots the raptor in the corner and lets out a squeal.
Oh, you're still in the bedroom. You're still in the
Oh,
bedroom.
I'm still okay. Never mind.
Yeah, this is the other three. Mary and Catherine and Orange.
Which of you came down this passage? Someone was in the master bedroom, and Coco is up there, strangled.
And they look at each other and they're like, what, Coco's dead too?
Well, our friend Una is trying to establish that at the moment, but very possibly.
Gordon says, I think it's very funny that you ladies are always around whenever someone ends up dead.
You can't move around this town without somebody dropping dead.
Gordon says, to answer your question, no, I did not know about that secret passage, and I have not been anywhere near Coco
So the
or
two of
anyone
you
else.
have been in here together the whole time.
And Sam says, well, we came in here because we wanted to discuss some business matters outside of earshot of everyone else.
And how long have you been here?
I don't know. Are you making a Dateline documentary? And
Well, there was
just came
supposed
down
to
this
be
passage.
somebody that just came down here.
but no one was here when we came in. And they like dismiss themselves from the room, leaving you all there.
That's mighty suspicious, wouldn't you say, ladies?
Absolutely. I'm thinking, could be just as easily, hand
Could
in
be the
hand.
two of them together.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, someone did attack Miri. Someone did attack Miri around the same time Coco was being killed. So,
wait, what were the costumes again? So Gordon was in the Frankenstein's monster costume, and then Sam was in the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh.
I'm sorry. I mixed up who it was.
And Marcus is not wearing a costume at all, but he's not
Right.
around.
But I'm just wondering about the cold hands.
Oh,
So
interesting. That might be interesting context though. Like if you say that Sam's wearing gloves or something like that, right?
yeah, something.
White
You know how
Phantom
you
of the
get-
Opera gloves.
You know how you get cold hands? Just hold them out in front of you for a while.
That's us,
Circulation
Marge.
changes.
That's us, Marge. I mean, like, these younger folk, I mean, they probably have, like, better circulation than we do. I got choked out. I got choked out in the backyard earlier, or they tried anyway. So,
At this point, you all hear it's Sheriff Dalrymple in his cruiser.
Catherine
Great.
rolls her eyes.
yep.
You figured out where the siren was again.
You'll see the red light, kind of spinning on the outside of the house. And Sheriff Dalrymple comes in and he's like, all right, everyone who called this in? June, are you here? And he's like, where's June Willoughby? And there's no, you don't know where June is. No one's like, June is not making herself known, but other people are kind of milling around. Una, you're upstairs. The rest of you are down there, kind of right near where you came in. What are you all doing right now?
I will go and greet the sheriff.
He says, Catherine Campbell, I should have known that the legendary murder mavens were going to be here when a body, turns up.
Well, I do hope you're not blaming us, Sheriff Dalrymple.
Nope, I'm not. But I do think that if there are cosmic forces at play, these cosmic forces seem to pull you and your friends close to trouble.
Really, Sheriff, now you're being ridiculous. Cosmic forces, indeed.
I wouldn't have suspected you to be of a mystical nature, Sheriff Dalrymple.
Well, Miri, my personal religious beliefs and spiritual practices are my own, and they have no bearing on my ability to do my job. And in any case, I should be the one asking you questions.
What does have any bearing upon your ability to do your job? I dare ask.
He says, all right. Where's the body?
Which one? And then she just like blurts that out before.
What do you mean, which one?
Oh, one in the backyard and one in the upstairs.
He's like, oh, 2 bodies?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a long night.
Don't shoot the messenger, Sheriff.
This is
as much as he wants to. She tells that to Catherine.
He says, all right, everybody, just everyone gather in here. Come on, everybody. If you're in the house, come here. And he's kind of like gathering everyone. Everyone shows, but June Willoughby. Una, do you come downstairs where everybody is?
I think I peek around the corner, and just in case, I adjust my cardigan because I'm still wearing one. So
under,
that
under
the
your moth
one
costume.
yeah, it's part of the moth costume actually.
Okay.
So that one of the lapels kind of pokes out, and you can see a little defund Dalrymple pin that Catherine had given Una on her cardigan, just in case. But she wants to stay and watch from like the background to see if anyone does anything suspicious, like not go downstairs or
yeah. Well, and from an elevated position at the top of the stairs, you can probably get a good view of kind of everyone and everything. Make a meddling move with reason.
That is an 11.
Very good. You want to bump it?
I do.
Okay.
I do want to bump it. I will mark a Crown of the Queen.
Crown of the Queen. Very good. Very good. I have the
Pretty
option
sure
in this game.
Oh, sorry.
I can give you a void clue, or I can reveal some history about the town. I'll think on it, but I'll give you another clue as well. We'll come back to that. Catherine, what are you doing as everyone's sort of gathering? Everyone but June.
I think I'm looking for June.
Very good. Where do you go to do that?
Well, last she was downstairs by the telephone. So
the main other place you haven't been is the like little film screening room.
Or the office, right?
Or the office, yeah.
Yeah, I think I will poke my nose in the office first and then go down to the screening room.
That's good. Miri, what are you doing?
Yeah, just for I mean, like, basically, like, Sheriff Dalrymple's still trying to gather everybody.
Yeah.
So Catherine's going to the screening room or the office?
Office first.
Okay. I'll go down to the screening room.
Marge, what about you?
I think I'm gonna disappear for a moment to have a Fox Mulder encounter.
Oh, very good. We like that. Let's start with the void clue first then. So do this. Okay. Una, I think from where you're at on the stairs, there's an outward facing window. And it's nighttime, of course. And you look outside the window and you see a thick, heavy fog has rolled in. It's so thick that it covers, you can't really see beyond more than a few feet beyond the house. And you see strange, shadowy shapes moving within the fog. Could it be Largefoot? Could it be the fish sucker? Could it be, what's some of the other things? The Brindlewood butterfly person? Who knows? But there are strange figures moving around outside. I'll also give you your clue because you get a regular clue as well. You also see this same window has cobwebs, like decorative cobwebs for Halloween in it. And there is a freshly severed bleeding finger in the cobwebs. That's your clue. Marge, go ahead and set up the scene. What does it say? Let's see what it says you have to do. It says you have to describe what the scene looks like, the location, the environment, how the mysterious person arrives, etc.
So longtime fans of the show will recognize it for what it is because it always happens the same way. Marge will be alone. She'll be passing through a room, and then a closet door will just kind of open just a crack, and Marge will stop and look at it. And then it'll open just a little bit more. And Marge will grab the handle and pull it open. And there'll be a rack of coats. But then below the rack of coats, like 2 legs and boots. And then it's kind of tense. But then because it is it the stranger or is it the killer? But then it always the same way. There's like a sad little sneeze from behind the coats, and it's always the same little sneeze. So you know it's the informant. And Marge always kind of gives a sigh, like, oh.
Did she get the closet with them?
And she steps into the closet and closes the door.
Very good. Things will be revealed to you, Marge. You get a +1 on your roll. This is a thing I'm adding for the final version of the game. You can apply that to the theorize as well. So, or you get a plus whatever the current void clue count is. Right now it's 1. The office. Paint the scene. Abner is very bad at business. Looking inside the office, how do we know this?
I think there are just, there's an old-fashioned inbox, and it's literally to the point where there are so many papers in there that parts of them have tipped over, and then more papers have been added on top. So there's, like these almost sedimentary layers of paperwork, and it's just unopened mail, legal documents, film scripts, everything all jumbled together.
Among that mess is also things that have been opened, and they are invoices stamped from different vendors saying second notice, third notice, final notice.
In one corner, right under a hang in there cat poster, is a banker's box. And the banker's box is full to the brim of crumpled receipts.
Next to the hang in there cat poster is another poster that says, step 1, lists something, step 2 lists something, and then step 3 is question marks, and step 4 is profit, and it's hung there unironically.
I love it. Good, good, good. Those were all very great. Catherine, doesn't appear to be anybody in the office otherwise. What do you do? You're muted.
If there's nobody there, and there's no kind of obvious other doors or anything, then I'll go down to the screening room.
And Miri, you were going down to the screening room as well, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
I think, Miri, you arrived first. And there is a film being played on the screen. It's a old 16 millimeter thing. There's no audio. It's just a scene, a black and white scene. And June Willoughby is sitting in one of the chairs watching. What do you do, Mary?
Let me guess. The chair is with the back to me. Yeah.
Yeah, she's sitting in one of the it's supposed to look like a little tiny theater in miniature.
Right. So I go up. Well, as I go up to June, June. Didn't you hear? It's like Sheriff Dalrymple's here. I thought you'd be the first one to greet him.
She says, "Oh, hello, Mary." And the film that's being played appears to be like a bunch of hippies, like dancing and playing tambourine and, lots of free love going on in the scene. And she says, "Do you recognize those two people there in the film?"
Is one of them her?
No.
Oh.
She says, "But it is a young Abner and Coco Vidal."
Okay.
She says, "This is not the first time Abner and Coco Vidal have lived in Brindlewood Bay, Mary. They are not merely recent transplants."
You said you were the first one to greet them, right? To bring them or introduce them, I guess, to Brindlewood Bay society?
In a sort of way. I wasn't completely truthful, though. I first met them back in 1967, the summer of love. You probably don't know this, Mary, because, well, you and your friends have not lived here your whole lives. But in 1967, there was a hippie commune that sprung up just outside of town. The members of the commune mostly kept to themselves, but occasionally they came into town for supplies. I remember it well. There were all sorts of rumors about what those funny people were doing out there. All sorts of rumors, satanic rituals, dark, orgiastic magic, you name it. And then, when a young boy, George Maplethorpe, not even 6 years old, went missing, the commune was blamed. A citizens' march was led to that commune in response. Can you guess who led that citizens' march, Mary?
Oh, it wouldn't be you, would it, June?
No. I was a pretty young girl then. Certainly not the pillar of civic mindedness that I am today. No, it was a young Wyman Dalrymple. Back before he was a sheriff. He wasn't even a deputy then. Young Wyman Dalrymple led the march out to that commune. Well, and actually, we're just about to the part of the film where the story gets most interesting. And as the film continues on, you start to see chaos. People running, even though there's no audio, you can see them screaming and crying in terror. You see fires breaking out.
Is this footage, June? Who filmed this?
She smiles. The one thing I was in my youth was a bit of a film enthusiast. I thought I might go to film school before I fulfilled my predestined role as wife and homemaker and socialite. They burned the commune down, Miri. They say everyone died, but not everyone, right?
So you knew them back then?
Yes. And it was quite a surprise when they showed back up in Brindlewood Bay this year, buying up property, building this horrible place.
I mean, there's no crime in that because they don't meet the town's aesthetic.
True.
But
Very true. Well,
wait, did they have this real?
and she says, there's some things that are best left unknown, Miri. And she stops the film and takes the film reel and puts it into her bag. We better go see what Sheriff Dalrymple wants.
Huh.
I'm sure he's busy getting to the bottom of this case. And that's when you run into Catherine on the stairs. Catherine June is trying to leave.
Ah, you found her, Miri. Well done.
Yeah, she showed an interesting little film there in the screening room.
Really?
Because shouldn't you be going up to meet with the sheriff, Catherine?
We were looking for you, June dear.
He's like, well, I can't imagine why. I don't know what happened to Abner.
Well,
And then she says, or Coco, and then pushes past you to go upstairs.
I turn to Catherine and I basically, say, how'd she know about Coco?
I think, yeah, we both, just that passes between us unspoken.
That's the clue that I owed Marge, given post facto. June was aware of Coco's death. And I think we're probably getting pretty close to theorize here. But with how many clues?
7.
7? Yeah. Well, I'm only counting 6. Did we miss one?
No, it's just not counting properly.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, so yeah, 7 clues. So, or you can keep looking around. Uno, what do you do when you see the strange fog rolling in? Also, Catherine, you still have your you haven't used your move yet this session either.
I was just looking at that, yeah.
And there's plenty of rich people here, so
Mhm.
Also have Gold Crown Mysteries as well. In any case, Uno, what are you up to?
After looking at that really gross finger that's just hanging in some cobwebs, which wouldn't be there actually if people kept this place clean, I think I'm going to run back to my position overlooking everybody in this room and try to spot who has a missing finger.
Oh, very good. You can just add that in as context when you get ready to theorize. So you can say you saw someone trying to cover their injured hand. Marge, once you're done in the closet, what do you do?
I think it always happens the same way. Somehow, like the door always opens and Marge is facing outward. Like They never explained how she gets turned around that way, but she always looks pale-faced. And she always steps out of the closet and the door closes itself and she lights a cigarette and then like goes and finds the rest of the murder mavens.
Very good. Very good.
What did I miss?
So much. So much.
Yes, let's get the sheriff up to speed. Although that typically takes some time.
And he still gets it wrong. That's the amazing part of it. I mean, I'm high usually, and I think I process a lot faster than he does. Just to say.
Well, what passes for his training is no match for the background we have in solving clues and mysteries.
I know Una's not there, but if she was, she would say, because we've trained at the Amanda Delacour School of Mystery Solving.
I mean, if I trusted his ability to read well, I would say we should give him a few of the mysteries to study. But there you go.
I'm sure he's probably mostly a paperback Western guy, if I had to guess.
At the very least, he ought to think about reading the one that this is just reminding me so much of. Bobbing for poisonous apples.
Poison twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row.
Stretching her creative abilities on that title.
I can't believe it took us so long to think of that mystery.
There's a lot going
Poison
on.
prawn was last week, okay?
It's always poison.
Why not? Although in this case,
I like the idea of Robin matches and basically just kind of reuses the plots of her various novels.
Well, Agatha Christie sort of did the same thing too, so
That's true, yeah.
not surprised.
Well, and she was a really horrible writer, let's face it. Like, she's a bad writer.
I don't know. I kind of just like the fact that you can digest it within like 3 minutes and you're fine.
yeah. No, the mysteries themselves are okay, but the writing is like, whoa. Okay, so let's talk about this bobbing for poison apples book. How is the situation similar to what Amanda Delacour faced?
I think that the situation was similar because it's also like around Halloween. In that story, like a bunch of people, like a couple people had these poisonous apples that they ate. They didn't actually like bob for it. That's just in the title. They ate these poisoned apples and died. And Amanda was struggling to figure out who really did poison the apples, because it was like, are the victims intentional or were they just kind of happenstance, like they just ate it? And here we're facing a similar thing. Like, was one of these victims, like, was Coco supposed to be killed, or did she just have to be killed? Because the real victim, I think, is Abner.
What if in this book there was also a false death, a faked death? Because thinking like in Halloween costumes and spooky death things.
Maybe
I like that.
Maybe there's some movie magic going on and someone is not actually dead. Ooh, that's very interesting. Yeah. So how did Amanda reach this conclusion? Is it because of the costumes?
I feel like at some point she stumbles across the limb that was severed from one of the dead bodies, and that's how they bled out and died. And when she managed to get a hold of it and get a really good look at it, she realized it was made of like latex.
That's really good. Yeah, movie magic. Okay, good. You have an automatic 12 plus, or you can declare something to be true in the scene. If you want to take the 12 plus, I recommend you give it to Catherine to double up with her move, the name of which I forget right now, Columbo, because you get a ton of clues off of it. Or you can just declare something true.
I say we just get a bundle of clues here and then theorize this thing.
So Catherine, you've all just finished having this conversation. How does that what's your angle then with the investigation?
Well, I think Catherine wants to know where Mrs. White was during all this, because she was the last one seen with Coco.
Correct.
And although Catherine does not want to jump to the conclusion that it's the help.
What if it's not the help?
Hmm?
What if it's not the help? What if
Well,
that's
exactly.
not Mrs. White? Maybe somebody was impersonating Mrs. White.
Maybe
Right.
she's not even a maid.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't seem too bothered about trying to get the ice
Nope.
herself. You can find Mrs. White. What do you do?
Well, she's presumably there with the others, and Catherine will go over and stand next to her and in a lowered voice say, "And where did you slip off to when that happened to Coco?"
And I think this actually kind of feels more like you're like declaring a fact, because we could say that Mrs. White is actually like someone else, she's not a maid. Or you can take the role. I'm not sure how Columbo fits in though, if she's a maid, because Columbo's about disarming rich people.
Yeah, maybe I'll save that for. I'm probably not going to get another roll in today, but or I think Catherine will say to her, the sheriff is going to leap to the conclusion that you were responsible, because of course the sheriff works for the rich people of the town, and the help is the easy scapegoat.
That's pretty good.
If you tell me what really happened,
yeah,
perhaps I can help you.
That's good. That's enough for Columbo. I'll make that count. She will pull you off to the side out of the sheriff's hearing. I owe you 2 clues. She'll say, but listen, I never thought much of Mr. Vidal, but I cared very much indeed for Mrs. Vidal.
I could see that.
Abner Vidal didn't deserve that woman, for reasons not the least of which he was having an affair with that snobbish June Willoughby. That's your first clue.
And how long had that been going on?
She says, I don't know. It happened pretty quickly once the family moved here. She started coming around almost right away. I couldn't say, but I'll tell you what else. Not but a week ago, Mrs. Vidal wrecked her car, but it wasn't her fault. Someone cut the brake lines. That's your other clue.
Who would want to do anything to Mrs. Vidal? Other than I
She's like, I don't know, but I've been trying to keep an eye on her ever since. And, well, we saw how this party turned out. I wasn't able to save her. I wasn't able to help her.
And what was your connection? If I'm not being too bold to ask.
And I owe you void clues as well. And I think the void clues will be experienced by everyone else. First things first. There is the music playing over the speaker system. It starts to play backwards. Una, you hear within the backwards music now playing everywhere. Embrace the void. Embrace the void. Embrace the void.
Una's like looking around, trying to see if anybody else is hearing this.
Indeed. And the party is broken up and moves outside because the house is quite suddenly infested with insects. Beetles, centipedes, cockroaches, all manner of bugs are coming out of the walls, coming out of the baseboards, flowing out of martini shakers and sugar crocks, and everyone's screaming and flipping out, and the sheriff is just gathering everybody out on the yard. I think it's probably time to theorize. For everyone. I think the sheriff's having a hard time keeping everybody calm. Everybody wants to leave. The locals want to go back home. The ones who are out of town want to go back to their hotels. Got 2 bodies. The deputies haven't even shown up yet. You've got a fair number of clues, 9 clues, 3 void clues. You can get +3 as well, Marge. Just absolutely blow this roll out of the water if you work in the clues.
Do you mind if we take a really quick break?
We should. Let's take a 5-minute break so you can think about your theory. Let's theorize.
We were kind of chatting a little bit over the break because we're bad at not theorizing. We can't help ourselves. I was saying how there was a lot of different things from June's story that I thought was really interesting, like the little kid who went missing and how I thought maybe he would have grown up to be one of these people. But that's all as much as I said. Mads had a bunch of ideas.
Possibly even grow up to be June.
Possibly, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, no, she was the one that was filming. She was the one that filmed.
You did say that, yeah. She alluded to
never
that.
mind.
So, with this, my theory is that it's a two-handed murder, a la Strangers on a Train. June and somebody else had colluded to trade murders, basically. So June wanted to off Coco, and then the other person wanted to off Abner.
If June and Abner were having an affair, that would indicate that June wanted that breakup pretty bad, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she would probably not be okay with somebody killing Abner.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, because the reason I suspect, like, there's got to be, like, definitely June is in the mix because of that whole, like, footage thing. But, I mean, there's got to be a man in the mix because it's like somebody strong enough to hold down Coco, and also to somehow, like, there's some kind of, like, impersonation going on because that King Tut costume was something that Abner wore. So it has to be a male or somebody like, very similar in build. So that's where I'm thinking it's like the two-handed murder, to incorporate those two clues.
What if Coco wasn't actually dead? I mean, Una
Did you-
inspected
yeah.
her body, but
That's
Una
a
was a
Mimi thing.
vet. Like, what if, like in the book that we were remembering, the poisoned apples or whatever it was, Coco's death was faked. Mrs. White and Coco faked that death because Abner was cheating on Coco. And clearly Mrs. White, is that her name? Yeah. Even said, she's very close to Coco. They could have orchestrated this.
Whomever killed Abner has the finger missing because of the razor blades and the gash on the throat.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, Mrs. White's not an actual maid, which is why there's cobwebs everywhere. So when the rats picked up the severed finger and ran it off and got caught up in the cobwebs.
Well, to be clear, the cobwebs are the decorations for Halloween.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Still, the rats picked them.
I mean, not that we can't, impugn Mrs. White's cleaning abilities, but but not for that reason.
They put the fake cobwebs over the real cobwebs to make it look like, it's
rather
not
than
this
cleaning the
disgusting
cobwebs.
mess. Yeah.
And again, there's some sort of collusion going on because of the message gone to Marcus. Well, I guess we don't have to worry about those rejected scripts anymore. Who did he get that message from? So
Maybe he got them from Coco.
yeah, something. So again, well, I mean, if it's not June, then it's Coco who faked her death with the other person. I don't know.
Let's review the clues for people
Trying
watching
to
the
do
video.
this.
For people watching the video, these are the clues that we have right now. Apples with razor blades in the bobbing bucket. A message apparently delivered to Marcus. Well, I guess we don't have to worry about those rejected scripts anymore. Marcus, of course, was Abner's agent in Hollywood. A shattered Briddy Award. It was Coco's Briddy Award. That's important. There was another King Tut costume on the floor, hastily discarded in the master bedroom. A secret passage from the master bedroom to the Tinseltown Room. There is a freshly severed bleeding finger in the fake cobwebs. Maybe there was a struggle with Abner and Abner managed to cut the person's finger off while being murdered. Who knows? But in any case, that's the clue. June let slip that she knew Coco was dead when that was not public information yet. Abner was having an affair with June. And a week prior to these events, the brake lines in Coco's car were cut.
Okay, I've got a theory for 6 of the clues.
Yeah, because remember, you don't have to do them all because you're getting a +3 from Marjo's
Gotcha.
as well. So we're gonna try that out.
So here's what I think happened. I think that Coco did it. She had an apple full of razor blades, and she struggled with Abner and slit his throat, but lost her finger in the process. She then escaped through the secret passage up to the bedroom, where she was like getting ready to make her escape with her accomplice, June. June was there to help her put a fake dead body on the ground, so that it looked like Coco got killed too. June and Coco are working together because June basically just came clean about what an awful person Abner was, and also that that June had confidence that Abner was going to have Coco killed to be rid of her, and that's why the brake lines were cut. So Coco's still afraid that there might be people out there. That's why she needs to make a clean getaway and for people to think that she's dead. But it becomes apparent to us that she's not dead because her fake corpse has all of its fingers. Nevertheless, the finger, the fresh finger, returns back to her, by fingerprints or blood or whatever, that it should belong to her.
Wait, so the
We
body
could make
up
it even
in the
more
bed is not even her body. It's like a
It's a fake one.
okay, interesting.
we can make it even easier for the fingers that the finger in the cobwebs has the exact pedicure and fake nails with the special like jewelry presses on the nails that Coco had on when she lost the finger. She couldn't find it. The rats took it.
Interesting. Are the nails? Is it like hieroglyphs on the nails?
Yeah, like
Mm.
hieroglyph nails.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Interesting. Okay, so it's still not 100% clear to me, but I think I kind of see where your theory is going, David. Any other thoughts? I mean, to develop this a little bit more, like what about the Britty Award? What about
Yeah, that only accounts.
What was June's specific connection to the events again?
I have
June's
a new
have-
theory. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Please continue.
Oh, yeah. If we're working off of that theory, June's connection is that like Abner like was wanting to have an affair with her, but she was loyal to Coco.
What was his
And-
connection between June and Coco? I mean, that never really got like
From back in the
because they
in
knew
the
each other in the
60s.
60s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're just loyal to each other for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but they are.
Hmm.
And I was wondering if Mrs. White is the missing child.
I don't know. I don't
have
even
no
know if we
idea.
need to try and answer that question.
Yeah, I mean the history part, that's just the history of Brindlewood Bay. It may not have anything to do with the murder, right? Who knows? I don't know. Could just be pure happenstance that several people involved in that incident are here tonight. Like including the sheriff, by the way. The sheriff that burned down the commune.
Wait, what if the body that's actually there? Because I mean, the Una examined it, so we could try to establish that that's a real body. What if that's not Coco?
Oh, interesting.
What if that's actually Mrs. White? Because of the suffusion of blood, because of, getting choked out or whatever like that, it could possibly be where it's like not distinct. So they switched out the bodies. So Coco is actually impersonating Mrs. White now. You don't notice the help. You don't really look at them. So
and
again,
they are like Hollywood people. They could
yes,
have,
June and Coco could have colluded, sure, and then they swapped it out where Coco was going to do this anyway. They were going to kill Mrs. White and then use her to replace Coco's body, and then they would get away clean because Mrs. White would just go off.
That sounds cool. Is that incorporating an additional clue?
Just trying to think.
I have one that incorporates all of them.
okay, let's hear yours, Amanda.
June and Abner were having an affair.
That's established per the clues.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coco found out.
Okay.
When she found out, she cornered Abner, and in their bedroom, they got in a fight. In a fit, she threw the Britty Award at his face. It smashed everywhere. She said that she's going to, take you for all you're worth, etc. So Abner decided that, well, better kill her.
Right.
So Abner and June became accomplices trying to kill Coco and cut her brakes. Didn't work, since Coco knew that Abner's pretty pissed off at her and knows that, there's no prenups or anything here. So, because they were hippies back in the day and they didn't sign anything like that. Coco and Mrs. White
because he's bad at business,
schemed together, and he's bad at business. Yeah. Coco and Mrs. White schemed to kill Abner, which they did with the razor blades and the bobbing bucket. Coco did lose a finger.
Oh yeah, because they wanted him. They were the ones who were like, "Go get the ice, please."
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
So either I'm thinking Coco might have lost the finger, but I think it was Mrs. White that would have lost the finger. And that's how what ties her. That's how Una knows when looking for the people with the missing finger. Mrs. White's the one that had it.
Oh, Mrs. White's like hiding her hand or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
June, after Abner died, June suspected Coco because June was in on the plan with Abner to kill Coco. And she knew of the secret passage. So she snuck up the secret passage to the master bedroom, murdered Coco.
And so Coco said, or maybe it was June who said, "Oh, it was you," or something like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
remember, we heard someone say,
Yeah.
a woman's voice say,
Yeah.
"It was you all
Yeah.
along." Yeah.
And so June killed Coco in revenge for Coco killing Abner. I would say Mrs. White was in the King Tut costume in order to try and make it appear, to try and make it look like Abner was kind of in around the house, just out of in the background. So if people were to look up, they'd be like, "Oh, he's going into the kitchen." So they would take a
Nice.
little bit longer to figure out that he's dead in the
Impersonation.
apple bin.
Oh, so she killed him while wearing the,
Yeah.
the King Tut. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So the only thing that doesn't get really covered in that one is the message that I guess we don't have to worry about the rejected
Yeah.
scripts anymore.
It's just
That's
it's
fine.
just a red herring.
Just red herring. Yeah. I mean,
So
Eight-
two different
eight was-
murders, two different murderers.
Yeah.
it's a
So-
good theory. It accounts for everything. I mean,
Yeah, that's a great theory. I love
Yeah.
that.
I like that one.
I
Yeah.
like it a lot,
Well,
and it's
I
still
wonder
a
if
plus.
you can work the
plus-
script into it because it's kind of to do with the money that she thought she was going to take him for in the divorce, and but he's not really got any money because his scripts he was trying to break back into Hollywood, but his scripts kept getting rejected.
I guess these scripts doesn't matter if they're getting rejected. I'm going to be broke anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So we've got two living suspects or murderers or accomplices. We've got Mrs. White for one of them on the hook, and we have
And
June on the hook for the other one.
right.
Okay.
And I'm not 100% convinced about the script's clue. Everything else feels pretty good, though.
Yeah. We don't have to include it if it's it's
Yeah,
not.
because you're
Yeah.
getting a +2, and then I'm going to say that Marge can use Fox Mulder here as well. And you racked up 3 void clues, so it would be a +5 on the roll. You should have a good result here.
Yeah, we're in good shape.
Go ahead and roll, Marge.
Okay.
Come on, Marge.
So 14.
Okay,
Hmm.
let's read the move. It says on a 12 plus, so on a 10 plus, you're correct. And I'll present an opportunity to take down the culprit or otherwise save the day. On a 12 plus, a person involved in the dark conspiracy of Brindlewood Bay also reveals themselves to the Mavens. Very good. I like it. So it sounds like you're going to make your case to everybody there out on the lawn. And I think just because I want to give Michael Knight a chance to appear.
Still say it's Fred Jones.
June and Mrs. White get into June's champagne Audi, and they try to run.
Oh,
Mary.
hell no.
Mary, what do you do?
Oh, she's jumping into the Enigma engine and she's gunning it. And she's going to I think the Enigma engine has seen so many better days, but it is still tough as shit. And she's going to try to ram the back of their car.
Yeah, I think the two of them look at each other and they they did different murders. And they kind of and they sort of because June killed Coco, right? And Mrs. White and Coco killed Abner.
Right.
I think they look at each other if you're done making your case, and especially after it's revealed that Mrs. White is missing a finger. And June says, "Perhaps we put our differences aside for just a moment." And they book it for her car, and they take off. So, or no, Coco who's missing the finger? No, it's Mrs. White.
Mrs. White,
Mrs.
yeah.
White's missing the finger.
Yeah.
So Miri, you're gonna try to take them down. I love it. This is a vitality roll. It is night move. What are you afraid is gonna happen if you fail?
Oh, it's she's something's gonna happen, and then it's not gonna be able to catch up to the Audi, or it's like, they managed to get away, and then
Yeah, it's worse than that. June's actually a stone cold fucking, like driver, and she manages to like cause you all to have a really bad accident, and they get away.
Gotcha.
Let's have a roll with vitality. Let me take a look at your conditions as well.
Oh God.
And I think you're okay. You can roll with advantage for
Okay,
Michael
great.
Knight.
Wonderful. Okay, that is a 9.
Very good. You will succeed. I think the complication is one of them is going to get killed in the wreck. I'll let you choose who survives, June or Mrs. White.
I like the idea that they turned on each other at an inopportune moment that caused this wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be not satisfying, but just June is the one that survives.
Yeah. So give me the scene. What does it look like?
So the MP3 player is turned way up, and like you can hear Kissing a Fool like blasting in the background as she's gunning the Enigma engine, and she basically just rams into the back of the champagne Audi, and has them run off the road, and then there's it kind of hits the guardrail and then kind of fishtails out and up and then crashes, and then after all is said and done, and we check, it's Mrs. White who sustained too heavy an injury in the crash, and she does not make it through the night, and June is concussed, but cursing the hell out of Miri for ramming her car. So
Fantastic. Thank you. And I owe you a big reveal, but we'll save that for later. That concludes the mystery. Who has a crown they need to resolve?
I do.
Read it to us and go ahead and do it.
The crown of the queen that I chose is to narrate a scene in the present day showing a burgeoning romance. We see the next day, and Una is riding her bicycle down a road, passing the scene of the wreck, where there's still like bits of Audi all over the place, and she pulls up in front of a little store. The store sign says the Twilight area, crystals and things. And she gets off her bike and opens the door and walks in with a little ding of a bell. Behind the counter is an older woman. She's got long, very wavy hair, and she's wearing sort of very flowy, loose clothing. Clearly a little on the gothy side, wearing a pendant with a crystal in it and crystals in her hair. And Una goes up to the counter and slams down a book. The book is about crystal healing, and says, this was just a bunch of foolishness. You're going to try to sell me on magical healing. Well, you got to do better than this. And the other woman laughs and says, oh, Una, all this belief that you have in Largefoot and the fish sucker, and you can't even put any faith in the other things in the world. And Una says, Verna, we both know crystals don't do anything, ghosts do not exist, magic doesn't happen. That's just how the world is. And Verna laughs and picks up a sort of a necklace made out of small stones off of one of the racks and puts it over Una's head, over around her neck. Well, try this one on for size. Wear this one for a week or two. It's supposed to be infused with other types of magic, maybe a little bit of good luck, maybe luck and love even. And Una leans forward very close and says, well, we'll have to see if it works then. And the scene cuts out.
Very good. Let's go to our end of session questions. You did solve the mystery, so everyone gets an XP for that. Una, did you share your wisdom with a young person?
Not in particular, no, I don't think so.
Did you show someone that you've still got it?
Not really.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess maybe not.
And that last scene there, and with the lady in the crystal shop.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was the
I'll
flirting
take
with the
that.
lady in the crystal
Yeah,
shop.
I'll take
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Marge, did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official?
I think so. We investigated without the sheriff, and I was pretty mad when June called him
you
in.
were trying to, yeah. Did you show someone that you've still got it?
I mean, I'm keeping up with the times and dressing like Squid Games. Does that mean I've still got it?
I'll take it. Yeah, the Squid Game reference. Yeah, that's good. Tracksuit for every occasion. Catherine, did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? I would say yes. Did you behave like a woman half your age?
No, I don't think so. I think I've got anything to justify that.
Miri, did you show someone that you've still got it? Oh, I think in the car, right?
Yes, definitely.
Did you behave like a woman half your age?
When I, moved back and stomped on the foot of whomever was trying to choke me out, I think so.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Fabulous, thank you. And how much time do you have, Amanda?
Probably about maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, let's have a
Do you want to
fast stars and wishes.
start? Okay, cool.
Let's have a fast stars and wishes. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. Stars for Jason, of course, for running this game and always having these wonderful, like, delicious characters that are just so fun and so very different. All of them are always so different. Even their voices, their body language. It's very easy to tell who you're talking to, even without it being, announced. And the way that you were pulling out those clues, and because I've read this mystery before and I know what some of the clues are, and the way that you were mixing them into the mystery was really, really fun, and it gave us a lot of fun things to play off of and work with. So that was really great. Miri is always hilarious. She's just a really fun character to be around and to play off of, because she is a little bit happy-go-lucky, hippy-dippy, but still really serious, but still a pothead. It's a very interesting character with a lot of interesting facets, and I really like it. Catherine is just lovely. She's kind of like she's like the serious one of our group, the one I'm going to get it done, but not in the I'm going to murder it way like Marge is. So I think that Catherine's a really fun, interesting character, and I really like her interactions with the detective, the sheriff, whatever his title is. That guy.
Yeah.
Yes. I think, and I also really love how you pull in, Rob, how you pull in the Eat the Rich ACAB stuff as a character. I think it's really
yeah,
fun.
that's kind of her. Her style is hippy dippy, but I see her being on the more serious kind of Weather Underground side of that.
Yeah, like activist side, and I like that. Yeah, Marge, of course, is amazing. I'm excited for when somebody really gets on Marge's bad side. I thought it was going to be June, and I'm like, something's going to happen to her. It's going to be great. She's going to be sleeping with the fishes or something. Marge, I want to be Marge when I grow up. So there's that. Except without the chain smoking, I quit for a reason.
Stars, I really enjoyed the theorize. I thought it was quite good because you kind of started with some kind of we kind of got to a good place. We kind of went through some tougher theories, and then we sort of eventually managed to get to the theory that was really, really solid and incorporated most of the clues, and that was just a fun process. I enjoyed everyone's Halloween costumes, and I kind of enjoyed I like this mystery a lot because the Halloween costumes help you keep everybody, like in your head, you know, like who they are and what they look like. And so it was just kind of fun to do all that. Yeah, and I, as always, I thought everybody did a great job with characterization and kind of getting to the mystery and solving the mystery and getting clues and all that stuff was really good. The scene going down the secret stairway was really fun. Just that whole sequence was good. The commercials were good. Yeah, it's a good time.
I think I love to theorize on this one in particular. I think it's almost necessary to go through a few iterations before you finally land on one that really sings. And I really liked the one that we came up with. Like that's a solid theory. Like that's a good little mystery. And then the two culprits, though on opposite sides, trying to get away together, feels so like 90s TV. It's great. That was particularly delightful. I think the commercials were perhaps my single most like delighted moment because they were absolutely hilarious and well done.
I want also a game that's just about Happy Jack or involves Happy Jack. Happy Jack is insane.
Yeah, you've got to escalate it every time.
Yeah. I feel like Happy Jack and Calamities exist in the same universe.
Well, now Roger Fontaine. Yeah, I like that the commercials sort of like flesh out the setting of the game in an interesting way. In fact, that's one of the things that I'm for the final books. Before we just had like more generic prompts, but the prompts in the final book for the Kutch commercial are going to be much more specific, like fictionally specific, so that there's a whole like meta world in Brindlewood Bay, which I think is going to be great. So.
Well, I hope Happy Jacks makes the final cut.
Happy Jacks will probably make the final cut. Yeah,
that's just beautiful. I mean, and again, just the whole idea of it escalating from like when you start all the way until, well, something's gonna happen, and he may literally jump the shark one of these days. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, like, again, stars all around, but I mean, Jason, the characterizations were wonderful, and then, you know, speaking to all the different people was really interesting, and yeah, I mean, I really love these characters. Kind of sad. This is like, at least for now, maybe, that last time we're gonna see them for maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and I mean, I enjoyed this mystery so much. I'm not sure why. I mean, it just kind of reminded me of like one of the Agatha Christie mysteries that I'd read so long ago, but then like it kind of branched out into other things that, you know, came from movies and other books, and it was just lovely. And then all the different theorizing that we did about the different, you know, ways that, you know, they got killed. It was really good, and it was really enjoyable to just kind of like figure out how the clues got put together. Yeah, so this was a great game, and I never laughed so hard as when you guys did the commercials. So that
the commercials were really
definitive
good.
Star,
they were very
like,
enjoyable,
bursting stars, definitely.
Right.
The gorilla, he had some good lines.
I'll go bananas on your case.
So that's brilliant, so punny. Oh my god, thank you. Oh, and I love you forever. You included the joke.
Oh, that's great. The chimp one was like, that doesn't even mean anything, but just because you're a gorilla, you incorporated it. What does that mean?
Yeah, it was a fun mystery, and yeah, lots of good moments in there. I really enjoy. I always enjoy undermining Sheriff Dalrymple. That's a big part of, I think, the character that I'm trying to play, and you know, it's kind of a fun part of the setting that everyone thinks he's a bit unreliable or a bit in over his head. Yeah, the commercials were fun. I've not done that before, and yeah, we got lots of lots of good moments of, you know, getting dice to the table, and things could go either way, and it was quite exciting. So yeah, that was really good. Yeah, generally all kinds of fun.
Fantastic. We'll save wishes since we're not going to be picking up the campaign for a bit, but In the interest of time, we're going to go to our little end of credits scene. It is the jailhouse. June Willoughby is waiting to be transferred to proper authorities. She's sitting there in her little cell. Sheriff Dalrymple comes in. It's late at night. He heaves a exasperated breath. Well, the last 2 rays of Apollo are dead. I suppose you're very happy with yourself, hmm? And she says, yes, very happy. My ancestors from the Deep Reaver would be most pleased with that outcome. Of course, we're very thankful for your help dispensing with the majority of them back in 1967. The rays of Apollo were very, very dangerous to a program that we've been working on for quite some time. And the sheriff says, and you're willing to go to prison for the rest of your life for that program, June? And at this point, a group of people step out of the shadows, wearing hoods and robes and the Greek masks, and they all start to surround Sheriff Dalrymple. And she says, no, Sheriff Dalrymple, I have no intention whatsoever of going to prison. And the scene cuts there. I will see you all next week for the Between. Bye.